All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about Sean Strickland again. Sean Strickland killing the game in 2021 and also apparently losing his girlfriend to Dominic Cruz back in the day. So Dominic Cruz apparently snaked Sean Strickland's girl back in the day. Not really a super relevant part of this story, but it is how this little Twitter interaction happened between Sean and this guy, and it's really hilarious. And I'm going to take this video a whole other direction. I know where it's going this time. This is not going to be a tangent. This is going to be on purpose. But anyway, if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. That way you'll know next time that I upload a video. So, like I've been saying all through 2021, Sean Strickland has been writing the book of how to self-promote in mixed martial arts, okay? Fights outside the cage that are on video, upload them to your Instagram, share them, they go viral. A. B, be super funny, right? Like he's super clever, he's super funny. He's also, you could tell, this isn't an act, man. Like it's not an act, this is exactly who he is. He's just sharing who he is publicly, which is what everybody should do, especially if you have a personality like this. But also, his pastimes are like shooting guns, you know, like dog fight, not dog fight, firecrackers, etc. Just things that like immature kids like me are into, you know, like kids who are adults, but actually still permanently 14 years old. So anyway, keep it up, man. So on Twitter, this guy submitted a tweet to him or you know, sent something out. And this was in response to Sean Strickland saying that Dominic Cruz had snaked his girlfriend back in the day, right? So this guy goes, "Hey, Sean, I'm 26 and my girlfriend said she wants to break up with me. She cheated on me twice, but I stayed with her and apologized for her having to go out and cheat. What are good tips for me to stay with her?" So again, we're going to just assume that this is real. And as crazy as that might sound, I'm telling you, you should have seen some of the things that got submitted to me when I was on TikTok and I was talking about this kind of thing. Sean responds, "Good question, man. Here's the thing, you sound like a little bitch, which is probably why she cheated on you for not laying the pipe down correctly." Right, what? "You can't blame her, but it's not too late for you, my friend. Leave her, train MMA, and be better. You can't turn hoes into a housewife." Look at, that is, I mean, that's excellent advice. That's exactly what you should do. You should turn yourself into a man, you know? Because there are exactly zero girls that are turned on by dudes that just let them do whatever they want and walk all over them. I mean, that's just literally just good advice. Also, have some self-respect, for God's sake, man. Like you can't, okay. So let's just do this. Sean is killing it. He's the man. Continue to do what you're doing, Sean. Also, obviously, he's also beat up a lot of guys at 185 pounds, which is generally pretty beneficial for your career. But here's what I am going to take this in the direction of, because the reason I know that this you know, I mean, the Twitter handle is Kimura Comedy. Highly likely it's not real. But because I know that these kinds of questions are totally real in many cases, I'm going to just make some comments on it. Because when I first started my TikTok, the way that I blew up, right? The way that I blew up was on TikTok, I started telling stories, right? Stories from when I was in college. Lots of them included things about girls, you know, tricks that I played. Tricks is the wrong word, but just like kind of, you know, the chess game. Like, you know, strategically, like if you watch my channel consistently and you listen to how I think about people, okay, well, I wasn't always married, man. I wasn't always married. So, like, I used to take my strategic way of interacting with people and apply it to, what do you think, right? What's your goal in college when you're interacting with girls, okay? So I would apply it to that, be like, ooh, I like her, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. So I started talking about those stories, and so people started writing me all this stuff, and they would ask me questions, and I swear the questions would be like this, like stuff like this, where you're like, dude, what should you do to stay with her? She cheated on you, and you apologized? I'm going to just take the question in another direction, because I don't think what you're saying is what you actually want. You want to stay with a girl who cheated on you? So the correct answer in that scenario, though, is let's say hypothetically that this was a very bizarre situation, right? Like let's say you've been together for 8 years and she'd never done anything wrong. She got super drunk and something weird happened and you really were like, I think I want to give her another chance. Okay, so the correct play in that sense would be you need to make her feel like she's lost you. Like that is critical, okay? Even if your plan is to stay together with her, step one is she needs to feel like you're gone and you're not coming back. She needs to feel the weight of that loss, okay? That is critical. That is, you can't move to step two unless you do step one, okay? She needs to think it's over and you have to sell it, okay? And the way you sell that is not by being angry, okay? If you look angry, what that looks like is whatever you do after that is you being emotional. You need to be cold. It's not easy in that situation, but that's what you need to do. You need to be cold. You need to just calmly tell her, because look, when people make decisions when they're calm, those are decisions that stick. When people make decisions when they're, those are not decisions that stick. Those are like rattly things that you're trying to put together, right? Someone calmly goes, oh, okay, well, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm calmly putting this brick right on top of this brick. And now I'm going to put this brick on top of this brick. Now, is this sturdier or is it like this? Whoa, moo. So sell them that you're calm, critical, okay? And that comes with a lack of communication. Calmly tell them that this is just not something that's going to work for me going forward. They'll go crazy. You're going to have to ignore it. You're going to have to literally ignore every single instinct that you have, because your body and your brain are going to be screaming at you to call her or text her, because you're hurting and it'll make you feel better. But you would do that at the expense of the stability of this thing going forward if you want to stay with her, okay? She needs to be crushed by this. Like, she needs to feel like, she needs to be at a place where she's literally praying. Like, if he takes me back, I swear I'll never, ever, 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 I'll never drink again. I'll never do anything. She needs to be talking to the big guy, not to you, because she can't talk to you. She can't get a hold of you. And then, if you decide to bring her back in, you have to do it in that position. Because then, whose show is it, right? Like, you want her afraid of losing you. You want to be driving the car. This is just the kind of thing that is so common sense to me, but people just don't get it. They're like, I don't like getting into all these games. You're like, okay. I mean, listen, that's fine. So don't. Try to navigate a situation where your girl cheated on you without playing games, and then see how well that goes, dude. Just tell her exactly what you're thinking. Like, just vomit all your thoughts at her. Just go, I'm really hurt, but I'm really thinking that I want to give you another chance. Okay. Good luck, dude, okay? You need to teach older humans like you would teach a child, okay? So like if your daughter, let's say hypothetically, walked into your room, saw money on your counter, and she's like, well, I want some money. And she took your money, okay? And then you were just like, hey, where'd my money go? And she just sat there and lied to you. And you're like, hey, come on, give me that money back, jeez. Come on, you can't be stealing money and lying about it. Come on, let's go to the movies. Okay, what do you think her adversity to lying to you and stealing things is going to be going forward? Not very high. Now, what if you calmly gave her a draconian punishment appropriate for what she did, and then didn't talk to her about it for the entire day? Just made her just sit with it and let her think, oh my God, I'm not sure if my dad even loves me anymore. I didn't even think, I just wanted the money. Then you calmly tell her what she did wrong the next day, right? I don't know if that's necessarily appropriate for this particular example. That might have been a little bit much, but maybe not, okay? So strategy is the most important thing when you're dealing with other people in situations where you want to mold their behavior. And so, Sean Strickland, this is correct, because there's no molding this girl. Like, this girl, she already cheated on you. You already apologized. You have nuked your opportunity to ever get, the upper hand in that situation. And it's not even necessarily about upper hand. Me and Gabrielle, we don't have upper hand. We've been married forever. But I can promise you that there was a point in our relationship where I gained the ultimate upper hand ever. The number one chess move ever played by a person against a girl ever. I did that against her. Now, people may not remember this story, or well, no, actually, anyone who's been following me from the very beginning definitely knows this story. But I've picked up a lot of followers since then, so maybe I'll tell it again. I don't know. If you've made it this far, you're probably interested in this kind of thing. So, super quick story, and then we'll just sign off this thing. So, Gabrielle and I were together when we first started dating. She lived in LA, I lived in San Diego. Okay, this was not an easy situation. She would have to drive down like 2.5 hours. She'd stay for a couple days, drive 2.5. It was very inconvenient, right? And she's like 22 years old. 22, living in LA. She's hanging out with like she lives with these two models, so they're like going out and hanging out with all these celebrity dudes and whatever. And so at a certain point, she's like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. Now, I lived with her best friend, a girl. So me and my best friend, dude, lived with her best friend. So she knew she was going to be able to get to me anytime she wanted, right? So like a child would, she thought she could have it both ways, right? Like she doesn't want to have to feel like she has a boyfriend. She doesn't want to have to come down here when she doesn't want to. She maybe wants to talk to other guys. She doesn't want to have all that. She just wants me to be in San Diego for her, like when she wants to come down. And I'll always love her no matter what. So she'll just get to have it both ways, right? So that's the way that she tried to play it. She played it like that for a little while before I figured out that that's what she was trying to do. Didn't take me very long. And so as soon as I figured out she's trying to have it both ways, after we like officially kind of broken up, I was like, oh, she thinks she's going to have it both ways. So what I did is I go, look, you're trying to have it both ways. That's not going to work for me. So it sounds like you're pretty dedicated to your little single life in LA. So go live it, go live it. Timing wasn't right, timing wasn't right. So, yeah, well, I'm sure obviously I live with Mandy. I'm going to see you all the time, right? See you later. Now, and then I cut off all communication, right? I didn't chat with her during the day. I didn't text message her during the day. Gone. Like I disappeared, okay? Now I did this because I knew in 3.5 weeks to a month, I can't remember exactly what the weeks were, but this was about the perfect timing to where Mandy's birthday was like gonna be down here in about a month. So I knew she's coming down in a month. So all of this is a month-long strategy where I just cut off communication because I knew before she came down, she's gonna start hitting me up like, hey, what are you doing? She's coming to San Diego. She's gonna wanna hang out. And so I just played it like, very hard 3 weeks, extraordinarily hard 3 weeks. You're like, oh, the girl I'm in love with is out partying with Leonardo DiCaprio in LA. Awesome. And she's definitely not gonna call me or text me. She's just gonna go do what she's gonna do. And I'm going to silently deal with that because that's what a man does when that's what you have to do. And that's what I did. Now, all of this was leading up to this birthday weekend. So the week before she's coming down, as I knew she would, she hit me up on GChat and she's like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Are you coming out for Mandy's birthday? And I was like, oh, yeah. I know you guys are doing blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I have to go to this thing in Oceanside that night. It's a party with these guys, she knows, whatever. And, but yeah, I'll probably come back that night later. She's like, okay, cool. And so she like was trying to talk throughout the week and I was very sporadically answering, but in her mind, she's coming down, we're gonna hang out. Because I'm going to Oceanside and then we're gonna come down like later. So the day before she comes down, okay, I had an Adderall prescription. I went to Mandy and I was like, hey Mandy, happy birthday. I want you guys to have a blast on your birthday. So here you go. And I gave her like 20 Adderalls, which is probably the most Adderall I've ever given a person ever. So it's just to make sure you guys have an unlimited amount of Adderall to party with. Have a great time, dude. You guys are gonna have a blast. And I can't wait to hear about it when I come and meet you guys later that night, right? So this is all strategy to make sure that no matter what, Gabrielle's gonna be up all night long. No matter what, she's not sleeping, right? She's definitely not going to sleep that night. So in reality, there's no party in Oceanside. I went to my buddy's house, this guy named Ryan O'Gorman, and he and I hung out by going to the Cheesecake Factory. I had 2 drinks. We went back to his house. The last text that I got from her was at like, I don't know, maybe like 8:30, and she's drunk already and she's with Mandy and she texted me, I just want you to know that I know you're the right guy, just not right now. And I looked at it, smirked, and turned my phone off. Didn't respond because I wasn't going to meet up with her and I was not going to answer any of her calls. I went and I slept on Ryan's couch that night. Slept on the couch with my phone off, okay? So, like I said, I was literally asleep at 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock latest. While Gabrielle was spracked out of her mind, wondering why my phone's off and wondering why I'm not coming home from this, this party in Oceanside, which she knows nothing about. And then I knew when they went back to my house that eventually the other girls are gonna go to sleep and she's gonna go sit in my bed and she's gonna go sit there all night, spracked out of her mind, jacked up on Adderall, not able to sleep, calling my phone, no answer. Matter of fact, phone off. And she's just gonna have to think about it. She's gonna have to sit in her decision like that. And that's exactly what she did. She sat on my bed, stressing out, phone off. I lost him. I came home that morning, maybe around 7:30. I had to go to work. So I came home around 7:30, acted like I had a big night, acted like it was totally like, oh yeah, Oh yeah, I tried, but I just couldn't make it work. And it broke her. Like when I say broke her, like we've been together ever since. Like that was like, oh, you can't have it both ways. Then she's like, oh, I didn't realize there was any chance I would actually lose him. And then so boom, back together probably the next week and have been together ever since. And now we have 2 kids together. That was probably 2007. So that was in 2007. And yeah, been together ever since. So yeah, so good advice, Sean. And if you ever really want any mastermind advice, you can come ask Daddy and I'll give it to you. That's what I got. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Peace.